this problem is like somewhat similar to the medium problem that we discussed yesterday. Like the pattern is somewhat similar, and again we are back. Like we have non-overlapping axis aligned rectangles, and then we have to write a pick function which randomly and uniformly picks an integer point in the space covered by the rectangle. So let's say we are given with this input, which is one rectangle, and I guess some audio is coming from you. Okay, let me mute. So it's better like if you guys mute, then the audio will be clear. Okay, so we are given with non-overlapping axis aligned rectangles, and we have to write a pick function which uniformly picks an integer point that is covered by the rectangle. So this is the format of a rectangle. Like we are given with x1 y1 and x2 y2. The x1 y1 is the coordinates to the bottom left corner, okay, and x2 y2 is the integer coordinates of top right corner. So I think this is pretty much clear, and we are given with different rectangles or non-overlapping rectangles, and whenever this pick method is called, we have to randomly and uniformly pick a point which is lying within those rectangles. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions regarding the problem description? Okay, fine. So anyone who tried solving this or have some approach? Anyone?
Yesterday we solved a similar problem in one dimension, right?
Yeah.
This is like kind of two dimension.
Yeah, we can say it is like two dimension, yeah, but that was moreover a probability based question. And yeah, this can be, we can say like this is also a probability thing.
This is exactly the question like yesterday, except that it has been extended to a 2-dimension.
Okay, so like I didn't got much time to solve all the three questions because I had a
That's
big
okay.
day. So
Anyone who remembers yesterday's discussion probably would like to try out this one. So the hint around here, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, since you explained it pretty well yesterday, I'm waiting for someone else to ask anything. Otherwise, I can try to go through this. I haven't solved it, but I know the idea as you already talked about it yesterday. So you can try that.
Yeah, I was just waiting, someone. So the main idea which I wanted to discuss
I
over
just
here.
want to like know like the complete meaning of this. Like I'm not getting this line completely, like non-overlapping axis aligned rectangle.
Yeah. One more
So
thing, like yesterday there were weight attached there, right? Weight array was there, but here what or how we are picking that weight, that's, I mean, not yet clear to me. I haven't tried it.
Okay. So non-overlapping part means like, suppose you draw a rectangle in a coordinate XY coordinate plane. Actually, let me try to share my screen for a change.
Okay,
and
okay.
whether that works. I'm
Okay,
trying to
sure.
set things up, and I'm not sure it will work, but can you give me the control?
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm stopping mine.
Yeah. And then I click on share screen here, and then whiteboard maybe. Okay, and then let's do something. So okay, actually this is pretty big, but just for explaining this. the first part of your question is like, if you have two rectangles, they are not, actually, can I erase it? Just give it. So these two rectangle, how do I draw? Sorry guys, I'm still trying to figure things out here. Oh wow. Is there a pen here which I could use? I just started well and then, okay.
There will be a draw in the option top, and you can use a freehand over there.
Yeah, so for freehand, is there an option like?
There will be a draw option, and in that it will be first option, the squiggly line.
Oh, this, okay. So this one is the, which I want, okay. So suppose this is our XY coordinate and you have two rectangles. Forget about that line, which I draw unintentionally. So these two rectangles, they are not overlapping. If I draw another rectangle, then this is overlapping with this, like, other rectangle which I drew earlier.
Yep.
So that's the problem. Like, you have rectangles which are non-overlapping, and you are trying to see how, like, it's exactly equivalent to the previous question, but you want to make sure that the distribution of selecting the point is like, fair. So just reduce it to one rectangle to begin with. Suppose you have been given just one rectangle. How would you choose a point in a fair way?
Within its area. So.
Exactly. So your area is which will help you to figure out, like, choose the point in a like a fair fashion. You can think about all these things, like, different points, XY coordinates. I can't draw that well, but how many points are within that rectangle. And suppose there are 25 points within the rectangle. You generate a number randomly between 1 to 25. And then you map each of the points within that area to that particular point, and then you can do the selection. Is that clear? I mean, just for one rectangle.
Yes, but how last time we have a weight there, right? So based on that, we figure out the probability is depending on that particular weight. How we are getting that assumption here, like which point to select.
So we will come to that later, but just think that you don't know anything. You have just one rectangle.
Got it.
That rectangle has 25 points.
Yeah.
And if you generate a number randomly between 1 to 25,
yeah,
it will assign each to, like, one value, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. They have equal chance to get selected, right?
Yep.
So this problem is solved for one rectangle, right? Without any problem.
Yep.
Okay. Now the thing is, now you have two rectangles. Let me try my eraser. Does this work? Okay, nice. Then suppose now you have this rectangle too. So it will also have its XY coordinates. There were many points inside this, and this is a bigger rectangle. So now when you will do this, like, you select it, there should be a higher probability that because the first rectangle, like the bigger rectangle, has more points, your selection would be more likely to be in that particular rectangle because it has more points, right? So suppose this guy had 25 points inside it, and this guy had 50 points inside it. So can we say that the probability of selecting points inside this rectangle should be like 66.6%? Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what did you do for that? Because it was 25 and the other was 50, you basically did, hey, let me go to that same thing, cumulative sum. I'm trying to derive the intuition for the cumulative sum, which you did anyway without thinking about is that it will be 50 plus 25 plus 50 into 100, right? That's the percent, like we are calculating percent, that's why. So this thing, you are going through the area, your area is your weight. Now, if you try to map with the previous, yesterday's question,
Yes.
the area is the weight. So what you can do, you can get all the rectangles like we did here. If you have more, you will try to create that cumulative sum for all these rectangles. And then first, now you have to select like which rectangle we are going to focus at. Because the thing is, your rectangles could be anywhere. So you have to first select, okay, if anything, suppose this was 75, I'm generating a number between 1 and 75. If I get anything between 1 to 25, I have selected this. If the number is between 26 to 75, I'm selecting this. That is a fair selection, right? No problem so far.
Yep.
Great. So once we have done that selection, now even within that rectangle, now we have to find a point.
Yeah.
So now you know the solution for the first problem. That is what we did when there was only one rectangle, how to do that. You know about that rectangle, you know the area of that rectangle. I know that there are 50 points here. So I can generate a number between 1 and 50, and I can map each coordinate to one of this, and I can choose a point inside it. Make sense?
Yep.
Anyone has any question? Or
So we need to do 2 times, right? One for x coordinate, which can lie between 1 to 5, or
let's look at it. Like that's implementation detail, but let's still go into that. So suppose if I selected this for simplicity, like just make 3 by 3.
okay.
So we have 1, 2, 3. So let's call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Or you can even say 0, 1, 2, depending on anything. Yep. Suppose I got a number 7. I know that it should be in the second row.
Got it.
So you can do generate the number, mod and divide, 7 divided by 3 will be I know it's in the 2 row, and 7 mod 3, you can say, hey, it should be on the first place or something.
Yeah. Got it.
So you can still map just by calling it once.
Got it. Yeah, now it's more clear. Yeah. Yeah, nice explanation.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So you can take the control, or I can answer any other questions if you have. Or Puneet, you want to add anything to it?
No, I think you covered everything. If anyone has questions related to implementation trade, I don't know who someone asked about you had to accept 2 coordinates, which is x and y axis, right?
Yeah, now it's get clear. Yeah, I was not able to assume we are now mapping against it, and we can get both the coordinates with the single number. Yeah.
So only one thing which I want to add on top of what Racharya mentioned is, if you have attended yesterday's session and you know how to do it, on a 1D plane. So
Yep.
one of the things which usually comes up is how to reduce this problem into something that you know about a solution. That something has already been solved in a different setting, how can we reduce this problem into that one? So if, I don't know, Roger covered it on because my network dropped off few seconds. If he covered that, essentially, how can we convert this into a 1D problem? What dimension would you like to have with the similar setting that we yesterday had? So yesterday, the difference was that we had to select from a single array, and the selection or the probability of numbers was based on their weights.
Yep.
So is there a way we can, change these rectangles into those single points and assign some weights to those rectangles?
Yeah.
So anybody would like to try to, reduce this problem into a 1D problem? It's okay. You guys can make some guesses and around that.
I think that the area of each rectangle could be reduced, help us to reduce to a single array, right? So, let's say I have first rectangle, which is, in this case, I have 3 rectangles. So I'm gonna have an array of 3 elements. And the first element gonna be 25, that represent the area of the first rectangle. And the second value gonna be 50, which represent, the area of the second rectangle. And the third one will be 25.
Yeah, that's exactly the right approach to, transform this 2D problem into 1D. So that way you will have, selection of points within each rectangle based on the area, which is essentially, giving you the probability of getting that element in that. And once you have the, rectangle where you want to find out the element, you can just take randomly any point inside that, because all the points inside that will have equal probability. Right?
Yeah.
I do have one of the variations. If we don't have any questions or discussion points on top of it, I do have one variation on this that we can discuss. But let's first see if we have any questions.
If I have another rectangle underneath the second rectangle, but it not overlap, is that still a valid input?
Right. So it's still valid, because let's say we are considering yesterday's 1D problem. We are just assigning or using the weights to select one of the, one of the rectangles right now. We are not considering where it is located. Once we have that, so it's like essentially mapping each of these rectangles into a x-axis value. Like I have 0 to 100, and I'll assign 0 to 25 to first one, 50 to 75 to other one, and 75 to 100 to other one. And once I have identified which rectangle I am going to going to select in, then I can look at its x coordinate, y coordinate, and find something which is essentially inside that. So let's see if we have another rectangle which is on the right of the bottom one and on the bottom of the top one, right? It doesn't matter where it is located, because we'll essentially select the first selection of rectangle is based on its area, not on its position.
Okay.
Right?
Hi, I have this thing. I'm not really understanding how can you convert into 1D, this whole thing. Are we going to put only x-axis and we are taking it from it, or like only x1, x2 or something like that? How will you convert it into 1 dimension and randomly picking it?
Okay, so let's extend to what Roger was saying. Suppose there are 25 points in the small rectangle and 50 points in the large rectangle, right? In all, there are 75 points that you want to select from. And if you want equal probability of getting, or there should be a fair distribution, you want each of the numbers to be, outputted once, right? Out of these 75 points, all of them should have equal probability to be outputted, right?
Yes.
Right. Now, for that, for those equal distribution, you first need to find out how many times or what is the importance of each of these rectangles. So if you see from the distribution of points, your larger rectangle is twice as important as your smaller rectangle, because it hosts more number of points to be outputted, right? 50 and 25.
Okay.
So essentially your weight of larger rectangle is as twice as the smaller rectangle if we map it to the problem which we did yesterday.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, first step is just to find out where you want to get the number. Do you want to output the number from first rectangle or second rectangle?
For that, if it is 25 and 50 ratio, we can say, because it is total of anytime we take off 100, we'll say this is almost this will get 1/4 and this will get 3/4 of the ratio, or some, it won't be 3/4.
Yeah,
We'll have
1/3
that
and
part.
2/3.
Okay.
Mhm.
After that, we can say, okay, if I get from 40 to 100, I'm going for the bigger one. I'm getting 1 to 40. I'm going to the smaller rectangle, right? That is the first part.
Right.
Okay, we got it and we are doing it. From then, we have to point the point in the smaller rectangle or bigger rectangle. So to do that, we thought we have to make it a one-dimensional. So we will select a point.
So one dimension is essentially only for selecting a rectangle.
Select, okay.
After that, once you are in the rectangle, all the points in the rectangle have equal probability.
Yes.
You can select anything inside that randomly. You can take anything x-axis random, y-axis random within that range, x1,
Okay.
x2, and
Oh, okay.
Y1,
Now I
Y2.
got it. First, we'll select the rectangle. Then we are going to give for the random function this, yeah, x1, x2 of this and y1, y2 of it, and we are doing it.
right.
Oh, okay. Okay. Of that particular rectangle, x1, x2, and we are calling the random function almost 1, 2, 3 times for x-axis, for the rectangle, then for x-axis and y-axis.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You were talking about another variation, Puneet. Can you please explain?
Yeah. If we don't have any questions on the current one, we can go ahead.
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay. So the easiest part in this was there were all disjoint rectangles. Right? Now, suppose we have some rectangles which are overlapping. And we still want all the points to have same probability. So what do you think we should be doing in that scenario?
So we should find the overlapping part and then we can remove it or take it once only or something like that.
I'm still thinking, but you know, here we can see that the part which has been shared between two rectangles, basically its weight has doubled. If we are thinking in terms of assigning weight to the points, if every point has weight 1, all the points in the intersection of that area has twice the weight. So it should have twice likelihood to be selected.
Yeah, now if you have another rectangle which is overlapping this way, you will have some section which is 3 times.
Right.
Some 2 times, some 1 times.
Yep.
So I was thinking on a different line, probably if we have something like this. Let's take like this. What we can do is try to split it into contiguous rectangles. Like I can split this one here, right? And now if I have, till this boundary, I have multiple sections again, right? So I can take this one as a single rectangle, this one as another one, and this one third. So I'll have essentially 4 rectangles in my input. So one is here, another is here, third is here, and the fourth is here, right? And once I go forward,
yeah,
and I can have this one as one rectangle. So essentially first segregating all them into individual units, because what we are concerned about is just the area. We don't care about the overlap or something like that. We just want every point in the entire plane should be counted only once, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I was thinking about. I am not sure if this is the right way to go it. So this is my approach.
Yeah, I think looks good. Just want to make sure I understand properly. So just for simplicity, have just one intersection. So you will make three rectangle out of it, right?
Not exactly three. It will be if
Oh, you are
something like this.
cutting, yeah.
I'll take this one as a rectangle, number one.
Okay,
This one as two.
yeah,
This one as three, and this one is four, and the remaining will be five.
okay. So now you have to make sure that the rectangle 3 has twice weight, no matter like, because
No, now in this new regime, we don't need twice weight, right? It's all of them are individual weights which are covering the area only once.
that is fine.
So I understand if you're, so I am still saying all the points should have equal probability. I'm not saying the overlapping part should be double. I'm saying all the points should have equal probability. If there are 30 points in this, 40 points in this, and 10 of them are overlapping, that means there are overall 30 plus 40 minus 10. That is 60 points, and all of them should have equal probability.
Okay, so then your problem definition is different. I was thinking the area which is shared should have more weight as compared to the others.
No, I'm keeping the problem statement exactly same what is asked in the current question. I'm not changing the problem statement. I'm just trying to see how we can convert an overlapping scenario into how to get the output for the overlapping scenario.
Yeah, I mean, good question and food for thought.
Yeah, the only thing I can see in challenge in this one is that if you start breaking, your array will get really huge. If suppose you have 5 elements, 5 rectangles, and if we just have 2 overlaps like this, the array will start exploding a lot. These two got converted into 5 rectangles. If we have anything better approach, probably we can discuss that, because this is all what I could think about.
I think in the situation there are many overlap rectangle. I would like to store each element in the rectangle range to a set. Maybe in that situation, it will be simpler, because you spend a lot of runtime to divide the overlapping rectangles into many small non-overlapping rectangle. Yeah, if you consider to store each coordinate point to a one-dimensional array, maybe it will be simpler.
So you're saying convert this 2D arrays into a single dimensional array of all the points considered, right?
Yeah, like each line, because each line and column is an integer, so you can.
From the space complexity, I think that will explode a lot more than what we are expanding just into rectangles. Even the time complexity will be, really huge if you are considering all the points. So suppose this is a 0, 0 to 100, 100, or let's say 10, 10, and this is 10, 0 to 200, 50. So you will have around 19 to 90, 80, 100 plus somewhere around 5,000, these many points. But if you split this into arrays, you will just convert it into 5 entries in the array. Your one-dimension representation will have these many points, and your two-dimension splitting of rectangles will have these many entries. Let's see what is the maximum that you can split a array into. Like if you have this kind of scenario, you will split it into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you have this kind of scenario, you'll still be splitting into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think we'll take up anywhere more than 5 times the space. Is that correct? If you have n size array, which is n number is equal to rectangles, and if you split it this way, the maximum that you can see is 5 times n. Is that correct? I'm not sure.
Yeah, but if you add one more, like, rectangle
Yeah.
inside that area, it will make it worse.
Right, I was thinking the same. It's like it will again split this into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But again, though, that will also split into 5.
Yeah, and so on. And so on, right?
Yeah, and so on. So
Yeah.
5 times all the elements after them. So yeah. All right. This is going to be a computationally heavy process.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, how about finding horizontal lines and vertical lines and then finding the rectangles?
Sorry, could you explain? I did not get that.
So let's say we have all the points.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's say we find all the horizontal axis and vertical axis lines of the rectangle.
Let's say we have these many. This is the 3. So you're saying we have 1 point here, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, and x6. Right.
And now we also have vertical lines like y-axis and x-axis and y-axis, all the points.
Right.
Now, since we want to find all the rectangles, we could follow like in a linear fashion. Like let's say we find x1 and then we found x2, like linearly, and then we find y1 and y2 for those points, and see how many rectangles are formed in x1 and x2. So let's say we got x1 and x2.
Mm-hmm.
In that x-axis, how many y points we could map, so that how many we could count how many rectangles can form.
So there's this one, which is y6 and y7, just for the simplicity sake. So for every point like x1, we'll have to find how many intersections does it have with y-axis.
Yeah, and then form rectangles. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will also work. We'll take the adjacent 2 and then find out for each of the rectangle, which is n, if there is an intersection.
Right.
And then this way will come. And then for an f2, x1, this one will be taken up. Then there will be this one, and this one. Yeah, I think that will work. That will be actually faster than taking each of those 2
Right.
rectangles and finding it out.
Right.
Right, I think we can take it up as a food for thought and try to have this implemented if anyone wants to try it out. Anything else? Any other approaches? I think I like this one where you can put it into X and Y and then sort it out. And then try to take pairs and find out if any new rectangle can be formed in between them. Okay, I think there's no more questions on this one. We can move on. Ashish, back to you.
Thanks, man, for such a nice explanation.